4, 5, 6, or online influencer. 7, 8, 9 is an individual who builds a grassroots online presence through engaging content like photos, videos, and updates, using direct audience interaction to establish authenticity, expertise, and appeal, and standing apart from traditional celebrities by growing their platform through social media rather than pre-existing fame. 10, 11. The modern referent of the term is commonly a paid role in which a business entity pays for the social media influence for higher activity to promote its products and services, known as influencer marketing. 12 types of influencers include fashion influencer, travel influencer, and virtual influencer, and involve content creators. 13, 14, 15, and streamers. 16, 17, 18.
Whoever calls me an influencer gets timed out. I never want to be called an influencer ever again. That's disgusting. I wasn't muted. It's all a part of the thing. Welcome, everyone, to the non-influencer stream. If you call yourself an influencer, it means that you like being on the same page as Logan Paul and Elon Musk, okay? Like, really think about what that means for who you are as a person. And, like, really think about what that means for you to be, like, in the same space as these people, yeah? I don't even know if these other people want to be here, but, like, I don't know, man. I just feel like this is a bad wall of pictures to be there. Hear you were out. Okay, I'm gonna time you out again. Preemptively time out. I'm gonna preemptively time you out again. I don't think influencers are good for the world, and I need to remind everyone this is just a hobby for me. Like, unless it starts to make six figures, then it becomes a job, right? But even then, you shouldn't let an influencer determine your opinions. Even though some of it might be funny and some of it might be applicable, it's like you should really think about the realities of, like, what you're doing over here. I have to keep timing this person out because they keep trying to speak up and call me an influencer. And it's like, okay, like, it's not awful to be an influencer, right? But, like, I look at the pages of some of these people and I'm like, I don't really know why you would listen to opinions from them, right? Not to say that, everybody here is awful, but, like, this guy just makes funny videos. She plays basketball, and she just writes about fashion. Not to say that those are terrible things, but it's like, I only think of, like, the only thing I would listen to him on is how to just make fun of things. The only thing I would listen to her on is the way that I dress. And the only thing that I would listen to her on is how to play basketball. I'm not going to listen to them for life advice, right? So I always do think of the idea of influencers to be strange, because it's like, why? Like, what are you, like, what is the point of an influencer? And why do they want to extend out of their own domain so much? Why do they feel the need to? And you realize something. Like, if you read this again and you really think about what this means, it's about the narcissism. It's about the narcissism that they have. It's about the idea that everything that they say is worth something, even though it might not be worth anything. How am I? I'm doing good. And how are you, chat? I hope that you're doing good as well. I hope that you've learned your lesson. Otherwise, you're getting banned. I'm gonna just everybody who says that I'm an influencer gets timed out. Okay. We have some fun things today. I've got a word game today that was sent over by Noggy. Actually, we're gonna play the open sewer game, which is like the open sewer sort of same universe as Infra game, where we're not playing an well-paid engineer who goes into dangerous situations like a nuclear reactor room. We're actually playing probably a homeless person. I'm pretty sure that's what the game is about, is being homeless in a post-infra world where the entire city is gone in Stahlberg, and now we have to survive in the open sewer. We're also maybe going to play Road Warden if there's time. And as well, tomorrow, so a bit of an update on the schedule. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. my time? What time did she say? I don't know. I think she said 3 p.m. my time. But tomorrow at 2 at 3 p.m., I'll be playing some Roblox games with Sweet Destination. Because she's been asking me to play that dress-up game, so we're just gonna try it out. If anybody else wants to join in, it'll be a public lobby, so you can just join. If you're a child, I'm gonna kick you out. Even though it's a child's game, this is not a child's lobby. Actually, I take it back. You have to be in my chat to join, and you have to be in the Discord to join. That way, it's like, if you're in the Discord, then I can know if, like, I would know if you're a child, then I can ban you immediately and then kick you out of the lobby, right? Like, it's like, I doubt a child's gonna want to join the, like, Discord. Can I say that again? Your boss was speaking to you or something. You have to go back to work. It's me. I'm your boss. I actually, I'm telling you to go back to work. You have to pay the bills. How do you like paying bills, everyone? I like paying bills a lot. Yeah, I enjoy the different types of bills I have to pay, and I like the fact that every day there's a new bill for me to pay because the bills just come out of nowhere, and it's just all different situations. What play tomorrow? It's Roblox. And then Wednesday. Well, no, what day is today? Today is Monday. Yeah, Wednesday. I'm thinking we're gonna do some more weird stuff, but we may even just go for like a full day of one single game. That intravenous game was actually I was thinking about it more and more. I was like, it's actually pretty fun, the spy game. So we might play it some more. But there's some other things I wanted to start and end. So I want to get at least Road Warden done, and then maybe in a couple months we replay them again just to see like all the secrets. Like Infra, we go for the secret run. Attica, we get all the little secrets. What's the other puzzle game that we played? The root trees are dead. Well, no, but that one's done. So yeah, it's mainly just Road Warden and the Infra. Maybe in a year's time we play them differently because I want to move on to the other like games I've been told to play a long time ago that I never got to yet. Right, like Outer Wilds, Disco Elysium. I still need to finish Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of games I need to do still, so I'm definitely waiting to or excited to get to those. But it depends on our progress with the Road Warden and stuff right now, and we may even start those things even sooner. Thursday, I've got something weird for you all cooked up. We might just spend the day painting within VR for a bit because I figured it was just kind of fun to just have like a downtime day just to paint and see how good I am at painting, which is not very much at all. Friday, there's probably going to be a day. It's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday when I'm busy because one of those days I'm going for an interview. I know it's weird to have an interview on Saturday, Sunday, but this one's like a personal contact interview, so I don't know if it's gonna pan out, but let's see. But if that doesn't happen, one of those days is an interview, and the other days will be Hello Kitty Island Adventure because my wife says it's really good, and she's been wanting me to play, so we'll finish that as well, or we'll start that, and then some other new games and stuff like that we'll try out here and there. So we'll see how it goes. There's a bunch of like different games I want to like try out, but the key is that we need to finish games, not because I feel like I need to finish, because I want to finish these games. It's like I'm blue balling. It's like I'm blue balling myself the entire time. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed that little update. There's nothing to talk about. Oh, actually, there's one funny thing to like talk about that I was checking out recently. But this is also very, very sort of like not. It's like very. This is a very niche sort of type of funny where it's like I don't really understand why they do this. But here, if we go to search career, here we go. Search. We do. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Okay, we'll just do software. Okay, software. Location, Canada. Okay, this is a good example. We'll go for the first role here in Markham. So I was checking out the website to do for careers on IBM. Just because it's like you never really know what the opportunities are like, and I click this button, and you see how it says to ask for an IBM ID. Okay, so you sign up for an IBM ID, right? This is actually an entire account for you as a business owner. So it asks you where you work at. If you try to continue on without the company, it says that you need this. But I'm like, wait a minute, this is the career site. Like, it's like the career site is completely different from the business side. When you're in the career site, isn't the point of you being on the career site that you're unemployed? So I'm like, how do you what's the point of this? It's like, and you also can't put your current employer, because then your current employer is going to think that you're trying to sell them on IBM, and they're going to be like, why are you representing us at IBM? Right? Like, this doesn't make any sense. So it's like, what do you enter here? But it's required every day. I feel like I stray further and further into the realm of insanity involving job places. Right? I feel like this is absurd to me. What's interesting too, if you go to the pipeline, I can't really show it because I have to do it all. At the beginning and at the end, you have to upload your resume twice, and it doesn't parse anything. You just upload it twice. You upload it once at the beginning, you upload it once at the end, and I don't know why it doesn't just reuse it. So it's odd. You thought IBM was when you poo a lot? No, that's the IRS. They do taxes. I have a song for you all too. So today is also a very song heavy day. It's more Vietnamese songs, but I think you'll like these ones. They're very, very nice songs, actually. They sort of range in different tunes and tones, and actually some of them even have interesting stories of where they come from. Yeah, because it's fascinating to sort of see nascent entertainment industry start to try some new interesting things. Not to say that the Vietnamese music industry is necessarily like small, but it's interesting to sort of see them go and start to become its sort of own entity with its own larger goals, right? If that makes sense. The the thing that's interesting about most other industries is that they have a long pipeline into getting into the industry, basically. And it's funded by the industry itself, and it's also in many ways funded by the government too, because culture and like this idea of influencing the world as a nation state, and sort of like that theory is a long term process. And very often, the government will just have an arm that's dedicated to that type of thing, where it's like the culture, it's like your arts, your food, your music, your like everything, right? Well, I guess music is a part of the arts. This song actually comes from a little weird show. I don't really know if it's like game show. I would probably be reticent to call it a game show. It's more like a show where they take a bunch of artists that the world probably doesn't really know. Particularly Vietnamese artists, but at the same time, these Vietnamese artists aren't necessarily small ones, but they're still like, I would probably say like they're smaller than like the most famous ones, and they just, I don't know, they just put on like a multi-series long show, and every day was a new show with a new type of song and a new type of feeling and like understanding. It felt like a concert every single day, and apparently in Vietnam you could actually go to see them live, and it was pretty hype apparently. I knew somebody who went to one, and they were like, yeah, it was really cool because they got light sticks. And if you watch the music video that I linked for you, I think you'll really enjoy it. I'm going to show you the music video after you listen to the song. There's one thing that I need to show you about one of these music videos, okay? It's not the same one, I don't think. Wait, no, I think this is the same one. But there's something funny about the fact that there's just... They really got, let's say, a little creative with the show. But please enjoy this song. I think you'll really like it. It's a very upbeat song to start the day. And what a good way to start, right? With a little bit of noise. It's a very interesting song. It's got a lot of like very classical pop vibes, especially like Vietnamese pop style. But then it also does some like interesting things at the beginning, as well as like throughout the song. There's a lot of like I don't know the word for it, but it's like the yum or something. It's like the sound of it. It's very Vietnamese inspired. And really the entire show seemed to be about that. What's interesting about the show is one, I couldn't figure out if women were on the show. It seemed like the entire show was just about like a bunch of dude artists, which isn't bad. But it was like, I don't really know what's going on here. But two, I want you to look at the performance here, okay? Like just like really take in what you're seeing here. All right, this is probably the best part of this whole performance. Okay, so you look at this. He does a cool flip, right? Okay, wait. So he then does another flip on the stage, right? Really cool flip, slow down. Why is there a clown in the corner? Why are there two clowns in the corners juggling? What is going on in the show? I don't know what the hell's going on. There's a guy in a trumpet. There are two clowns juggling, and okay, when they go out on stage, it's so funny because it's like they just slowly walk out, right? It's very Eurovision, yeah. Because when I was told about Eurovision, and I looked up clips of Eurovision, this is what I had in the mind. Was like when I saw this, I was like, this feels a lot like Eurovision, but it's not like all of Europe or like all of, you know what I mean? Like it's just a Vietnamese thing. But it feels like it had similar goals where it's like. Not about, well, to be fair, I don't think there's even like a voting thing. I don't think there's a voting thing because when I was trying to check out the whole point of it, it seemed just to be like a bunch of recorded concerts and like performances that they do just to show off sort of like the Vietnamese music industry. The culture and like the Ministry of Culture had like a lot of their hand in this pie to like make this happen apparently. So it's a bit interesting. Where did the clowns come out? So the clowns walk out at this point, okay? So the clowns walk out in the corners, and then they start juggling, all right? So he does one flip, he does a second flip, and then they start juggling. They're already juggling by the time the second flip ends. Look at this. The trumpet guy picks up his like trumpet. He's not even playing it, okay? Like this is just... Mind you, they're on stilts. This may surprise you. They're not that tall. They're on stilts. I don't understand. Like, it's crazy to me. It's such a fun way of doing things, right? It's weird, it's silly, but it's cool to see. I think it's a very interesting effort by just artists over there in general to like show people what the music industry is about and almost like flex in a way, right? Because it's like weird how hard it is to find any information about Vietnamese music. Like you can find information about a lot of other types of music, but it's very difficult to get any sense of what Vietnamese music is and even how to listen to it. Like it's very odd. It's like nothing. It's very hard to just do anything with it. To be fair, if you live there, it's a lot easier. But it's like that precludes most of the world, right? So it's kind of, you know what I mean. It's just that idea of like spreading it around is sort of fascinating, and to see them take that effort for the music industry in particular, for what is typically something that I think for a lot of people used to be looked down on. Like I would want to say like a lot of the old school families when you're growing up look down on sort of the look down on the arts, and it was more of a rare thing to want to sort of be in that. I sort of see like it's nice to sort of see that being encouraged now officially. Also, chat asked me about TFT and if it's really good now or if it's any better. I didn't want to type it because this deserves my full thrusty. It's both one of the worst and one of the okayest all battlers I've played. I said this before. I hate the real-time mechanics of TFT. I think it's a pain in the ass. I mean, it's a Dota auto chess thing, and it was like the whole point of it was to make it like a PvP effort, right? It was a introduce certain dimensions of skill, but the dimensions of skill always end up feeling very clunky in the sense of like you have to scout the enemy's board, you have to know who does what. It's like similar to a card game where there's a limited draw pile, so there's like a huge knowledge floor you have to get into the game. That doesn't really change how you play tactically. It's like it changes how you play strategically. But it's also not really much of a strategical thing. It's more of a, well, if you get like XYZ things for this particular build, you're kind of locked into it anyway, so you don't really have much of a choice. And getting off of it means you lose power. It's like, do you concede if somebody else has your same build? Like, there's a lot of things about it, but in the end, it doesn't really feel like there's much choice in the strategical side. And it's a distraction from the real fun, which is the tactical side. Figuring out what items to put on who, what someone does, how to position them, and then figure out how to like cancel someone else's board. I think that's more fun, and I like the real time scouting for that aspect. And they've even removed a lot of the elements of the game that were frustrating in the sense of like whoever scouted and acted last before the round started would win. So, for instance, Zephyr is hard to get now, very very hard. And because Zephyr is hard to get, you can't just instantly knock out the enemy's carry for 3 seconds anymore, right? And it's no longer a race of whoever does it last, and no longer like a mind game 50-50. It's like now, for the most part, your board plays out pretty much normally, and it's rare for you to get something like a Zephyr that knocks someone up in the air to like stun them, right? So there's that aspect of the game where they've gone more towards the full tactical side and more of the planning your things out sort of statically. They've also sort of played around with different elements. They try to add assassins, remove assassins. The current set is like a non-assassin set, so which I like because I find assassins sort of break the flow of the game, and not in the sense of like it's a bad thing, but it definitely changes how you play. And assassins with another trait that does AoE damage is always like a 50-50 because it's like basically until it's 1v1 you don't know who you're facing, right? Like as a guarantee until you're like the last top 3, or is it top 4 now? I can't remember what the rule change was, but up until like top 3 or top 4 it's always 50-50 or like a 1 in 3 chance that you'll face someone, right? And if one is assassin and one is AoE mage, your positioning for both differs such that you would lose against one and win against one. Like the positioning for both is so so advantageous for the other that you basically have to just roll and like gamble. They remove that. Like a lot of that in this recent set, they've been sort of toning that down a lot. And they've been doing it over a long period of time to test like can it work. And now I think at least for it seems like the set they've conceded that it probably doesn't work. Though I haven't listened to the Moit Dog is it devlogs? He goes on Twitch and he like talks about it. He used to be really into it. You entered an in-person tourney pre-COVID. See, so here, one, I'm surprised that the game has in-person tourneys because I don't know why you would do in-person because it's like you can just do it at any point, right? It's just a card game you can play like anywhere, right? Two, I'm surprised that you actually got into one pre-COVID because yeah, that is very early. Because during those early days, I remember those tournaments being very very small, to the point where like I don't even think my city had any in the person. I think ours was like all online, and if you wanted to go somewhere, you had to go further away. So I know a fair amount of Canadians here, like a couple of my friends, who had to either participate remotely or they just flew somewhere else to like do it. Like they just went on vacation to the States pre-trade war to do like a tournament, right? Three, did you hear about that scandal with that latest? I think right now it's like the TFT World. So before, like now, so nowadays, I think Riot Games has their official tournament, which is called like the Worlds. In their official tournament, I think there was a win trading scandal where somebody intentionally sandbagged to get their fellow countrymen further or something, because it's like nations versus nations, which is a very risky concept for like a like thing. But like, you know, it's basically how League of Legends runs too, where it's like by the end it's like, you know, South Korean team versus like a North American team, stuff like that, or like South Korean team versus South Korean team because the North Americans get knocked out within round 3. And then there was a whole controversy about the win trading because it was like super obvious when they did that. So yeah, it's interesting to see the tournament scene grow. And I do know that, for instance, BoxBox on Twitch, he like does a lot of streams about it, and he does a lot of coaching, and he even runs his own community tournaments for it. So there's like a whole ecosystem around it now. But yeah, I think the game is in a better state than it was before. I think a lot of the annoying elements that basically added RNG and what really fun to strategize around are getting less and less. At its core, it's still a card drawing game in the sense of like it's a zero sum game. So you have to, whoever scouts and like does that faster and is more aware basically has a higher chance of winning. It leads to some interesting problems where it's like, when a trait is overperforming and everyone goes that trait, theoretically it should be weaker, but because there's also RNG in the cards in like the units that you pull, if they happen to hit it first, they just auto win. So it's like it is interesting to sort of see that where the auto balancing doesn't really work in terms of the zero sum, because you still have the RNG of actually pulling the units too. And then you also have strategies to like guarantee certain things. Like you might want to roll early, you might want to roll down, you might want to play like, you know, like a reroll on 6 or 7 or something for your traits. But for the most part nowadays, I think it's, at least right now, it feels a lot less RNG dependent and a lot less, I guess like heavy on APM. Like there's a lot less things that you need to do to shuffle around to beat in terms of, in terms of like odd positioning patterns. Like there's no, like Zephyr is so rare that, you know, you only really need to be worried about one single person. And it's like, you can just very easily manage that. Whereas before, everyone could get like 3 Zephyrs and it was basically hell. And I think it's in a better spot. I think the newest set too feels a lot more, it feels interesting. This set feels a lot more like front to back, slow down, pace. I also like the improvements that they added. So if you don't know, since the last time you played with Season 3, they added a bunch of things. So now they do augments. I think I'm pretty sure augments was post Season 3, because I've been playing since Season 1, and I don't recall augments being in Season 1 and 2, but 3 onwards I'm a bit iffy. But yeah, so they have augments now where you choose up to 3 of them: the silver, gold, I forget the last one. Platinum. It's like shiny. It's like prismatic. And then you can like choose random, basically buffs for your, or like perks for your team or something, or like, or for yourself. It really depends. And then there's a whole like strategy around like, do you choose ones for economy? Do you choose ones for team power? Do you choose ones for for yourself, like literally you're a tactician as like an endurance thing? Like there's a lot of different ways that you can go depending on how your game is going and what you think it's gonna like roll up into. There's different game states, so like every time you play a new game, there's a new modifier for the entire lobby that takes effect too. So it's like the modifier might be every augment is prismatic, which is the highest tier, or it might be like on round 3-5 you might take 10 damage for free. Which is stupid. That's a really fun addition too. I really think it's more fun to have that RNG sort of like full lobby effect. I don't know how good it's been in terms of the competitive side, like because RNG in competitive tends to be very, very difficult to work around, because it's like the game is already like, games are already RNG in terms of, or like anything that's competitive is already RNG in terms of the in terms of a person's performance, right? Like, so you might be performing less well that day, and somebody who thought that they would have to struggle against you on that day isn't really struggling. And so the strategies that they would have had to employ against you are out the window, and they didn't have time to prepare for everyone else, and so now they're losing even harder. But like they're winning against you, so both of you lose instead of you winning and like them maybe staying alive, right? Like it's like a whole different. So to add more RNG on top of that as like a global layer for every single game, I don't know how well it does in the competitive side, but from a casual perspective, it's a lot more fun, right? So it's like it's fun to get into the game now as like somebody going with friends, and you just see who gets to farm who, and like the motto is like, oh, okay, am I farming you or are you farming me? They've done a good job with like the traits as well. They've done some rebalancing on the current ones, but even then, I think in general, the design of the traits has gotten a lot better. The ones that you chase are really, really strong, but it's super hard to hit. It's basically RNG. But at the same time, you have options to even play around them, except for maybe Enforcer. I'm pretty sure Enforcer would still win up until against like a 3-star, like tier 5 or something. The newest set also has like this idea of like 6-star or like a tier 6. I like the RNG dice roll of getting like a Victor or like a Mel or like a Warwick. It's kind of interesting to sort of see how you slot them into your team, especially for the traits that have a lot of units but not enough space. And so it's like how high level do you have to be? The anomaly thing is a bit interesting too, where you choose your carries beforehand. Although it's a bit a bit hit or like miss, where it's like it feels like a win more button in the sense of if you're doing really well and you have a good win streak and you keep your econ going and you get to pull your units that you want for your team, you can just put the buff on them. Whereas like if you're losing, you had to like re-roll, get some early units. It's not your ideal carry, so you have to go for like your tier 2. Though they fixed that recently. The latest patch added the second anomaly, so it's like there's a way to catch up now. Whereas before it used to be like a single anomaly, which I think was bad. Nowadays it feels like you get second anomaly way more often, so it's like let's say you get behind and then you happen to have to waste your first anomaly on like a second tier carry in your comp, right? You can now wait till second anomaly stabilize, right, and then use it on your preferred carry in the second one, and now you've got 2 monsters, and then the trade-off is like, do you lose like the like a frontline one? So there's a lot of interesting things about TFT now that I like. The core mechanics are like good. They've narrowed down and they've trimmed away a lot of the RNG aspects, but they've added RNG in terms of like the traits themselves, which is interesting. It's, I think, more fun. They've thought about the positioning, I think, a lot more, and it feels a lot better to play with positioning stuff. And now the positioning changing units, it's relegated to like 1 or 2 units. I'm pretty sure the only one right now is Smeech. I can't think of any others. Who else goes to backline? But they've been playing with the idea of assassination in another way, in the sense of like units will now target the back with their skills, but if anything's in between that, they'll like block it. So it's like it's nice to see them sort of like experiment with that idea, because again, units jumping to the back and you having access to like an assassin was always annoying. It really felt like the tactics didn't feel like anything. Like it felt like the tactics sort of fell apart. This feels like the most tactical it's ever been, but I still do think it's annoying that it's real time. But when I played Tales and Tactics, right, the game from Yogscast, or like from the game published by Yogscast, but that was made by I swear I'm actually a fan of the game. I swear I have 167 hours on it, by Table 9 Studio. When I played that and I experienced this idea of a asynchronous auto battling game, I thought to myself, this is amazing, right? Because there's no need to think about and deal with a card draw pile, and it's all about tactically moving your units on the board, and the strategy is more about how you want to approach it with your resources and with your understanding of like the percentages, which I think is inherent to the auto battling genre. But the fact that like TFT, Teamfight Tactics, adds an APM requirement to do that, I always found a bit strange in a strategy game. But at the same time, I don't like blitz chess. I hate blitz chess because I don't like having to think on my feet. It's not the thinking on my feet. It's the fact that I'm being timed at all that bothers me. I like moving fast within even tactical games, but I like that I like that I have a choice to move fast or move slow. And having to be timed on it is sort of annoying, and having to do it in order to succeed is like annoying if you have to go fast, right? There's some things that the game does that requires you to move fast that I don't necessarily mind. The one where you re-roll on every monster round, I think it's okay to have, but like again, I'm not a big fan of having to like scout someone's board, reposition very, very quickly. It's like it doesn't really feel fun because then it's usually basically what it optimizes down to is what is your frontline positioning going to be like to draw their front line, and where do you put your carry in relation to theirs to prevent your carry from dying immediately to like theirs, or you just slap on an Edge of Night and you auto win. Like it's basically, at least right now, I see Edge of Night being sort of like the key win more button where it's, you know, because the scouting aspect is so strong and because certain moves are very, very good at targeting certain carries depending on where they are. Edge of Night is so good to be able to get that first cast off despite the fact that you've been bursted down. Because at least for right now, the set feels like it's a very burst damage heavy set. Like I don't look at the DPS damage aside from maybe Sniper being very good, but even Sniper is mostly burst. So yeah, that's my basic assessment of the game. Interesting. I mean, again, it was basically just Dota Auto Chess ported straight to League. So, and then Dota Auto Chess itself has always been a very difficult game to get into because of that real-time aspect, and they kept the real-time aspect. But I think they've done a lot more for the framework of the game than Dota Auto Chess and sort of like whatever progenitors that it's had has done for general casual fun. I will say that it's a very fun casual game, no matter what, because of the RNG, because it's basically just a roguelike every single time. You never really know what's going to happen. And something like Tales and Tactics, while it is very, very fun and very, very polished and very, very tactically engaging, it's like most people don't play chess, right? Most people don't play chess. Most people would rather throw dice and play Yahtzee. And that's just the reality of it. And Teamfight Tactics leans towards more the dice Yahtzee crowd, and something like Tales and Tactics, and even Dota Auto Chess to some degree, probably leans more towards like the chess player that actually enjoys more of that tactical play style. But even Auto Chess has some of that dice rolling too. So again, it really depends on how you go about it. That's my full Thressie review of Teamfight Tactics. I've got some pretty cool tacticians. Yeah, it's fun. I will say they've done something with the MMR where I don't really get how it works, but the one thing I will say is that ranked in League of Legends in general has gotten worse in the sense of like, it takes a lot of effort to get out of certain ranks. So, for instance, in TFT, if you lose a game, you lose 50 LP. If you win a game, you get 50 LP. Even if you're like second or third, you still win or lose 40 to 50. And if you're like fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, you lose like a shit ton always. And I don't really get why it swings so hard, because somebody has to be a loser in every single lobby, right? It swings a lot to the point where climbing in ranked games in League of Legends is more of a time commitment than a skill commitment. It's like you can be really good at the game, but it's more about how much free time do you have than necessarily the skill. Like sure, there's a correlation between like skill and time, where if you're paying attention over time, your skill should rise, you know, as more time progresses. Maybe not at the same rate, obviously, but like still, like it should be some progression. Maybe you'll stagnate, maybe you'll like fall, but usually it just goes up. But even then, it's like even with the skill, you have to play a lot of games to get back to any rank. Like even like the plain old League of Legends, you have to play so many rank games to get back to whatever your old rank was. Like if you ever decay out of it and you go down like 2 or 3 ranks, it's like, oh man, you have to go all the way back up. And I don't know why it's such a heavy time sink for a game like that. So, but that's a general complaint of most games rank systems. A lot of them are very sort of time consuming, and I get the point of it, but I also don't really get it, because it's like it doesn't matter how quickly you rise in rank. If you rise quickly and you fall quickly, then theoretically, right, over time you will always stabilize within your rank. So you'll never be able to push further than you actually are. But it also means that if you're really good at the game, you don't have to play like 100 hours. You can play like 10 and you'll get there. Honor chat. I need to fix that right now. I'm fixing the Honor bot. Why? Oh, do you know what? I know why. It only works with lowercase. or wait, it only works with hello. We'll do honor. Honor. And then we'll do, there we go. Hello chat. How are you? Nice to see you, and I hope that you're doing well. You just missed my rant about TFT, so you missed nothing, really. We're going to move on now to a very weird card game, which is actually a very good segue. So, chat member recommended me this Nagi, so we're gonna try this. I don't know how they found it, but I want you to know it's a very weird looking game. They did mention the art is AI, but it's temporary. It's because they're a single developer, and they're gonna get real art once the Steam version comes out. We're playing the itch.io version. Just give me a moment to set it up. I don't even know if it works. What an amazing game. I kind of forgot how I sounded like. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed that little weird thing. Thank you for sending it to me. That was actually a genuinely strange game, and I did really enjoy playing that a lot. That was fun. We're gonna move on now to Open Sewer, and I realized that actually that took longer than I expected, and I had to go somewhere after, so we may cut Road Warden out today, and tomorrow will be a Road Warden day before or after the Roblox. I'm not really sure. I have one song for you. I have actually 3 songs for you today to transition through into. So sort of like songs in between each game and songs at the end of every game. If hopefully I can get to Road Warden, but let's see if we can. Depends on how addicted we get to Open Sewer, but I don't think we'll get too addicted. But let's see. I'm really into survival games in general, so it might be a long day today. Who really knows? Again, this next song is a Vietnamese song, so the whole day is a Vietnamese playlist. Do I even sound normal now? Do you even... Yeah, okay. And the best part of this song is that the song does sound great, okay? The song genuinely sounds amazing. I really like the way that it plays with like traditional Vietnamese singing styles, the kind that you would hear back in like the old theater and like basically the old theater days. And as well as like even like the old traditional style of like I don't know how to say it, but it's like a whole style of music where it's like it's called like gailung, where it's like you go up and down and you add a lot of like flair to your voice. It's a very, very technically complex singing style, and it takes a moment to get used to it. But once you do, it sounds amazing. But the best part about this song, and I'm not even kidding you, the artist of this song has a real name. Okay, but the only thing that I want you to look at is the fact that his artist name, like the way that he's credited in his songs, he's called Master D. Please enjoy this beautiful, beautiful song. Sonically, the song is very interesting, right? The way that he employs the singing style it's fascinating. It's a very modern song by pretty much every single measure, but it's the way that he employs that very traditional sort of like singing style within the modern song that I think is very, very beautiful. I also an interesting part about the song too. At some point, I think it's within the 3rd or the 4th verse, he says "maybe die," which is actually not even. It's not Vietnamese. It's a Thai. He has a really interesting interview where he talks about why he chose that word. He was in Thailand for some reason, and he was learning the like language, and he mentioned that word stuck out to him because he saw people just saying it all the like time. And he said that it flowed very, very well here with the song, which I mean, it makes sense. It's a very sort of like there's a lot. It's got an interesting sort of like rhyming structure to it. Like the whole song is actually surprisingly complex in that way, and it roughly translates to like come good or like don't do it or like you can't do this, right? In the sense of like, and in the context of the song, it's like not something bad. It's more about the way that he sort of says like there's like no way we can do this. There's like no way that we can sort of be together. Roughly, let's just say that's like the general vibe of it. Or like there's no way that like this can ever be something that is real. And it's fascinating to sort of see him take that choice. There's actually been a lot of different Vietnamese songs that have had elements of other languages in it. Actually, it's fascinating how much artists in Vietnam sort of like collaborate with other artists from different spaces. For instance, there was one artist who collaborated with Ji Yeon of TR. I can't remember the other artist's name now, but Subin, and they made this song. I can't remember what it was called, but they basically made this like fully Vietnamese song, and Ji Yeon Ji Yoon had to learn Vietnamese to like sing it, and you can tell that she's not very good at it, but it's like it's fascinating to see this idea of all these languages coming together and all these different people from different industries sort of coming together to sort of make these songs, right? And obviously, you have that one song with Snoop Dogg and Something MTP or something like that. There's a lot of different styles here, and I really enjoy each one. It's a very fascinating look at the industry as a whole, and it's pretty cool to see because it's a lot of like that whole region is very sort of interconnected. Like everybody is there, interconnected, and everyone's spending time with each other, and so it's like it's very hard to divorce yourself from any particular one. Like you'll find the Vietnamese diaspora in any place, really, all across Asia and all across Western places too. And to sort of see that like globalist element within the various songs is very interesting, right? Not to say that you need it, but it's sort of like this interesting meld of these different things all coming together, all these different all these different influences, sort of like showing explicitly, whereas before it'd be much more implicit in the way that it sounds like and the way that the songs are like structured, right? So why does Prolapse get a plaque but the Shitters doesn't? Because the Shitters was successful and nobody is willing to do the pro. How come nobody here? I have no authority in my own server. None. I have zero authority. You know what? I'll put the Shitters up here. It's Shitters has so far. So for those of you who don't know, we have a Discord channel, and for a long time I didn't want to have a Discord channel, but it was so successful because I've consistently been able to get chatters to say Shitters every single day. And then I tried to make another channel. Here, I'll just show it. I want this to be proof that I tried, okay? I tried to make it so that everybody... So there's a channel called Shitters. You're only allowed to post the emailed Shitters, okay? And then I tried to do one for the Kermit one. I was like, okay, we have to do this Kermit sticker thing. And immediately people said no. And then it immediately churned into a Shitters channel. And even I participated. And now they're saying you have no power here. It's just all a disaster, okay? I don't even have power in my own channel. Anyways, let's get the Shitters mentioned. Can I get like a... Is there a way to screenshot the entire chat in like one single roll so I get every single message? Like I want everyone to see how much we've been shitting. Here, we'll just do like a... It's like a tapestry. It's a tapestry of shit. I want to make like a tapestry of shit so that we all know. The tapestry of shit. The tapestry of shitters. Okay, so we'll do... Tapestry shitters. We'll do this. We'll drop it in over here. Tapestry. What? Saddam Hussein's body. Oh yeah, this is a great image. You guys should look at this. It's a Half-Life 2 meme. It's a Half-Life 2 meme, and then it's like also based on the tapestry of shit. What is this? Toilet Tarzan. You should... What? What is this? Oh yeah, I saw this random comment. Screenshot somewhere. You should sit in toilet for 10 hours. You should be Tarzan. Okay, wait. So where is the tapestry of shit? Where is the tapestry of shit? Every time I go further and further, there's like a new funny meme image. Here we go. Perfect. It'll be like a scroll. You know what? I have an idea. I can do this. I can do, okay, wait. Discord bot. Okay, one thing I'm going to add to the Discord bot and on the website. So on the website, poll Shitters Tapestry. Pull the Shitters channel message log and make it like a giant banner or tapestry thing that flows on the website as a sidebar thing that you can continuously scroll to see the entire history of Shitters. That's genius. You love the irony of the you have no power here is that I had to fix the GIF so that you could send it. Yeah, I like... You know what it is, right? I'm not a dictator. I allow you all to protest. I allow you all to have like a dissent, right? Because dissent means that you turn a blind eye to the various other injustices that I inflict on you. Why is he leaking chat? It's the new tapestry. Anyways, give me a moment. I'm going to go right into Open Sewer. I need to start this game up. And I don't know if it's going to crash. But again, this is the game set in the same universe as Infra. So if you enjoyed that game, you might like this game. Let's see if it even works. I have to go. So, good night, everyone. Goodbye. I'm going to go. I need to go take care of some things. We have a whole bunch of just... I mean, Mondays are usually the busy days for me. I decided to try it again, see if I could stream on the Monday, but definitely didn't work. So, I gotta make sure things are good. And then we gotta figure out what to do. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what time. But you know, same time as always, and then sometime in the afternoon we'll be playing some Roblox with Sweet Destination. We'll see how it goes. I have no clue how those Roblox games are going to go. But again, if you do want to join, you can apparently download Roblox and join the worlds. We'll at least be playing the fashion game, because we did want to try that out for a bit just to see how it functions, and to see if it's actually a fun game or if it's just something that, you know, like maybe it's not even close to. Maybe Infinity Nikki blows Roblox out of the water. Who knows? See you all next time. There's no one to raid to, and I have to go right now. So it's going to be just a very cold ending. Bye.